Hello, Dr. Joe here of the 2020forum.com. So, you know when you go hiking and you get lost in the middle of nowhere, you are in the middle of the woods, you have no idea where you are, you don't even have a compass on you. How do you get home? Well, I'll give you a tip. Well, you look for the North Star. Why the North Star? Well, it's because the North Star is fixed. All other stars move around the North Star, but the North Star is fixed. And that's the reason the North Star is also called Polaris. It will be your guiding light, okay? The North Star will be your guiding light. And that's how you're going to get back home. Now you're wondering, what has that got to do with high blood pressure management? Well, a lot actually, because when it comes to managing your high blood pressure, there are a lot of moving parts and it's very easy to become overwhelmed with everything. And in this video, I'm going to give you what's going to be your North Star. It's going to be your guiding light, the focal point for your blood pressure management. So all of this is going to be based on scientific papers, not just my opinion. So let's get started. Let's look at paper number 1. So the first paper was published in Hypertension Research and it's titled Chronotherapy with Conventional Blood Pressure Medications Improves Management of Hypertension and Reduces Cardiovascular and Stroke Risks. One of the things this paper talked about is that numerous studies consistently substantiate the asleep blood pressure mean is both an independent and a much better predictor of cardiovascular disease risk than either the awake or the 24-hour means. So paper number 1 is telling us that your sleep blood pressure, your asleep blood pressure is a better predictor. Let's look at paper number 2. This was published in Blood Pressure Monitoring and is titled Prognostic Significance of Ambulatory Blood Pressure in Hypertensive Patients with a History of Cardiovascular Disease. What did paper number 2 say? Well, it said that nighttime blood pressure is the better predictor of death and recurrent cardiovascular events in hypertensive patients with a history of cardiovascular disease. So nighttime blood pressure being very, very important. Let's look at paper number 3. It was a meta-analysis published in Hypertension Journal and it's titled Daytime and Nighttime Blood Pressure as Predictors of Death and Cause-Specific Cardiovascular Events in Hypertension. What was the upshot of paper number 3? Well, it said that nighttime blood pressure is in general a better predictor of outcome than daytime pressure in hypertensive patients, and also that the night-day blood pressure ratio predicts mortality even after adjustment for 24-hour blood pressure. So another emphasis of nighttime BP from scientific paper number 3. Let's look at paper number 4, and it was published in the Canadian Journal of Cardiology. And it said, nighttime blood pressure patterns and target organ damage, a review. So this was a review, and what did they come up with? Well, they came up with the fact that non-dippers, okay, so your blood pressure is expected to dip at night. If it doesn't dip, then you are a non-dipper. So what happens when you're a non-dipper? That's what this paper focused on, and it says, non-dippers with essential hypertension have been found to have more advanced left ventricular hypertrophy. Left ventricular hypertrophy is when the muscle of the left chamber of your heart becomes thickened, okay, because the heart is doing more work. So if you're a non-dipper, you're more likely to have that. If you're a non-dipper as well, you're more likely to have carotid artery wall thickness, okay, more carotid artery wall thickness. So this carotid artery is the one that supplies blood to our brain, okay, the carotid artery. It gets thickened more if you are a non-dipper. Also, that if you're a non-dipper, you're more likely to have carotid artery you're more likely to have carotid artery atherosclerotic plaques. So you're more likely to have plaques in this carotid artery, okay, the vessel that supplies our brain. So if you're a non-dipper, you're at risk of that. Also, if you're a non-dipper, you're more likely to have silent cerebral infarct, so dead brain tissue. You're more likely to have a stroke, obvious. you're more likely to have cognitive impairment, okay, so memory problems if you're a non-dipper. You're more likely to have microalbuminuria. What that means is your kidneys are getting damaged by the high blood pressure. So essentially, all of these scientific papers are telling us that your nighttime blood pressure is very, very important because it is a better predictor of cardiovascular events. It's also a better predictor of target organ damage. And the target organs being the kidneys, the heart, the vessel that supplies your heart muscle, which is the coronary vessel, the carotid artery, which is the one that supplies our brain, even our brain tissue, even our eyes. All of those are target organs. And they're more likely to be damaged if you have poor control of your nighttime blood pressure. So I believe your nighttime blood pressure should be the North Star of managing your high blood pressure, okay? Very, very important. Now you're wondering, okay, you want me to manage my blood pressure better at night. How do I go about that? Well, there are a couple of measures you can take, but I just give you a few tips. First one is that, and I did a video on this before, the first one is that if you're taking one tablet of high blood pressure, you should have a chat with your doctor to find out if it's okay for you to use that blood pressure medication at night, okay? So that's the first tip. Second tip is, if you are on more than one blood pressure medication, also have a chat with your doctor to find out if you can take at least one of those medications at night. So that's tip number 2. So tip number 3 is you should exercise in the evenings, okay? Because very, very important. Go for a walk, okay? Go walk for at least 3 miles in the evenings. If the weather is not good or it's not convenient for you to go out in the evening for a walk, do some home exercise routine, okay? So because exercise is one of the best things you can do to manage your high blood pressure. So exercise in the evenings, go for a walk or do home exercise. Another tip I'll give to you, and this one is also based on research, have a hot bath at night, and I mean a hot bath. I've done a video on this before. I'm going to leave a link to that video at the end of this video so you can watch it. It is a Japanese practice, and the research was actually done in Japan because when you have a hot bath, you sleep better, which means your blood pressure is going to be better. So watch the video and you'll find out. It is based on research. So having a hot bath is a very simple intervention that you can undertake. It doesn't cost you anything. So hot bath is another tip for you. Of course, there are other measures that you can take, but those are just a few that I'd like to mention in this video. Hopefully you got some value from this video. As usual, if you did, give the video a thumbs up, like the video. Please share this video with your friends, family, and colleagues as well. Now, are you somebody who normally takes a hot bath at night? I want to know about it. Do you measure your blood pressure at night? Because it's one of the things that I recommended before in past videos. Are you not checking your blood pressure in the evenings? It doesn't have to be every day. Do you check your blood pressure at night? Let me know, okay? And any other thing you want to talk about, leave your comments down below, okay? If you haven't joined us yet in the 2020 Forum website, go ahead and join us because we talk about wellness issues over there. I think that's about it. Oh, there should be 2 videos on your screen now. Please go ahead and watch the videos. Click to watch any of them. One of them is going to be about, the hot bath, the Japanese practice of having a hot bath. Go ahead and watch the video. I think that's about it. Until next time, well, this is Dr. Joe signing out.